Hey guys, I just want to do a quick video on how to essentially read errors or bugs in your code and read it line by line, know what it means, what the logging system or Python is trying to tell you about your certain error, and if you can't solve it, how to search for help online. So basically the general process you would like to do either in a working environment or with this mentorship program is try to solve the problem yourself. For the first 20 to 30 minutes. If you can't solve it, it's fine. Ask for help after that. But you also always want to basically build this independent mindset on how to solve problems because it's going to help you basically be a problem solver and be resourceful in how you solve problems as a programmer. But again, it's always good to ask for help, and you can ask it on the Facebook group as well. So I basically created this quick Python file. It has a couple errors, and we're just going to work through it line by line. And then if I don't understand the error, then we are going to essentially search for it with Google and then also Stack Overflow. So again, if you remember from a previous video, we are able to run Python files with Python space and then whatever the Python file name is that ends with a .py file extension. So if I basically run this, you can see that from line 1, I'm getting this error, invalid syntax. So if you're just new, you might not understand what's wrong with this, but essentially this is not a keyword. What I'm trying to do when I start a function is type in def. But let's say you didn't know that. Let's just say s. Why is that causing an error? I don't understand. Okay, well, let's basically search it up. So you basically copy that error, then paste it, syntax error, invalid syntax. So you basically just look through some articles. When you run your Python code, the interpreter will first parse it and convert it to Python bytecode, which will then execute. So basically, it's just reading your code line by line. So often what's happening with this invalid syntax error is that you made some mistake. So either a colon wasn't used, certain line wasn't coded correctly. So because I know it's a function, I know I misspelled it. So basically, now I save it again, and you can see how the syntax highlighter, if you remember, we installed the Microsoft package for Python, is able to highlight different keywords in Python, and the def or definition keyword is how we write functions. Okay, so we fixed that error, and this should disappear, but you can see it tells us what file we ran, what line the error shows up, and where exactly. So you can see that it ran here, the first letter at start. So I know start is not wrong, so it must be something to the left of start. So knowing that this is misspelled, I fixed that. So let me run this again. So again, I'm getting this invalid syntax error. And you look at the line. So this is really helpful when your code is multiple lines long, like hundreds of lines of code. It's going to let you know specifically where your error is occurring. So if you notice, I also forgot a colon. So I can fix that. Let's see if that changes anything. Okay, I'm missing parentheses in call to print. Did you mean print XY? So this is an awesome thing about Python. This is actually a very helpful error message. It doesn't explain why this print statement is correct, but essentially in Python 2, this is how you were able to print things. But in Python 3, now we print things like the thing below. So if I change that, and let me just get rid of that space because it's annoying me, these two things should work. So you can see now that I have print parentheses open, x plus y, parentheses close. This first line I should get 14, second line 40. So missing parentheses, and it lets you know exactly what error occurred. And remember how it said in the article parsing? So Python goes line by line and tries to interpret what you coded in Python, and then it converts it into bytecode that the computer or the machine understands. So if an error basically occurs here when Python is essentially saying, I don't know what you're trying to do here. And it gave you this little syntax error because a lot of the Python developers who created the Python language realized this was a common error, so they gave a very descriptive error statement. Again, line 2 is where the error occurred. We fixed it and the file, and it actually lets you print out the line too. So all helpful information. So a very key parts of information you want to always keep in mind: the line number, the file, what exactly is being printed and shown, and then the actual syntax error. So the syntax error is very helpful if you don't know particularly what's happening, because you always copy and paste it. Go to Google to search your question, and then Stack Overflow too. So let's go to Google again for this second error, and then I'm going to also type in Stack Overflow afterwards. So you might be asking what Stack Overflow is. So Stack Overflow is basically like a forum for developers to answer programming problems. So it's going to be very helpful when you're writing your code to solve a lot of problems this way. And then also when you're working on a team, very helpful to find out these types of errors. And if you had some type of error, someone's already had it with Python. So it really lets you know. You can ask a question. I also recommend like joining here, but you can ask a question and they let you know how to fix it. So again, just like that syntax error showed you in Python 2, was how a print statement showed up. In Python 3, it's within parentheses. So easy way to solve your problems. Okay, so we fixed that. This should all run. So you can see 14 and 40. So that's just an easy way to basically debug your code. You read these error statements. If you don't understand something explicitly, then you just search it on Google and then also on Stack Overflow. So you can use a combination of like articles other people have written through the Google search, or Stack Overflow, which is a dedicated forum to solving programming questions and problems. So thank you guys.